Hi everyone, we're going to create a pop art design today. And you can see my examples here. We're going to be inspired by Andy Warhol, who is a famous American artist who created different portraits of famous people at the time using this style. So he took pictures of famous political leaders, famous sort of pop culture icons, and created a pop art style portrait of them using really simple shapes and bright colors. So we are going to do the same thing. You're going to choose your own celebrity, whether that is a political leader, a community leader, a pop culture icon, it doesn't matter, but you need to save a photo of them to your device. And the photo should be a portrait style photo. So we just want sort of from their shoulders up. And we want the photo to be straight on. So we want the person to be looking at the camera. Okay, something like one of these two photos. So save that to your device and then open up a new window of Photo P. And you're going to click on the New Projects button this time because we want to create a square canvas to work with. So I'm going to name my project PopArt so that if I am looking for it later, I'm able to search for it. So good to name your projects. It's important not to have a whole bunch of projects called unnamed in your Google Drive or on your device because then it's hard to find what you're looking for when you need it. Then I'm going to change the dimension type to inches. And I'm going to change the width to 10. And then you can see my height automatically changed to 10 as well. So I can create a square canvas. So I'm going to click the Create button. And now there's my square. So now I'm going to click File, Open and Place, and select my photo that I've chosen. And I've chosen a photo of Camilla Williams Harris, who is the OCDSB Director of Education. And she has led us through a really difficult school year this year and continues to bring about great changes for our school board and has been a really great leader for us. So I'm choosing to commemorate her in this way. But now what we need to do is we need to turn on transform controls and make this portrait fill in the entire area of the canvas. So I'm going to hold down the Shift key on my keyboard to make sure that the photo doesn't get distorted. And I'm going to increase the size of my photo and adjust it so that it fits nicely within the canvas that I have created. So that looks good. I'm going to turn transform controls off. And this is the photo that I have to work with. Okay. Actually, I might zoom in out a little tiny bit if I can, just to have a little bit more of her clothing to work with as another shape. Let's see, I think that's about what we can do. Okay. Good. So now what you're going to do is you are going to remove the background, which is something that we're familiar with. We've done it a bunch of times before. As you know, there are a variety of different ways to do this, but I'm going to use the magic wand tool and I'm going to select and delete. But first thing I need to do before I start trying to delete is I need to rasterize my image. So you're going to right click on the layer, click rasterize, and that will allow us to edit this photo. Okay, so now I can use my magic wand tool and delete my background. Now I was hoping that it would be quick because it's a solid color, but not quite a solid color. Maybe if I turn my tolerance up, it will go faster. Did not mean to do that. There we go. Oops. Not want me to get that last little piece there. Okay. I've gotten most of the large areas. Now I'm going to use the eraser tool and I'm going to increase the size of the brush to try to get those sort of little remains. Oh, but I need to make sure I click select and deselect so that I'm not using the magic wand tool anymore. And I'm going to zoom in. Okay, looks good to me. So now I'm going to make sure that I've selected my image layer, and I'm going to click on the layers tool in the top toolbar, and I'm going to click new adjustment layer, or sort of hover my mouse over the new adjustments layer, and then I'm going to click threshold. And threshold is this cool tool that turns our photos into sort of a coloring book style. Now, I'm going to adjust this quite a bit because, as you can see, the image is quite dark. There's quite a lot of black. So we want to lower the threshold so that we can see more of our photo that we're using here. But we don't want to do it, we don't want to lower it so much that we can't see the details of our photo. So we're going to adjust this a little bit at a time until we get the ratio that we like. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it about there, but there's a few areas that I want to touch up, and you have the ability to do that. So I'm going to, I just want this to go away. There we go. I'm going to select the brush tool, which is hidden behind my eraser tool. I'm going to use the black color, and I'm just going to finish this line down here and connect these two lines together so that her shirt is enclosed. Oops, but I need to be on this layer. Okay. And I'll do the same thing at the bottom here, but I'm going to use an even smaller brush. It might even still be too big. Just so we have defined lines for where we're going to color in. You could also do it around here as well, but it looks mostly closed. Okay. The other thing that you can do if you want is you can use the eraser tool, and you can, again, make your brush very small, but you could add in more white areas as well. And so that will allow you to have more space to color if it sort of works naturally with your design, which in this case it does because there already are these little lines to show the details in her hair. Okay, so I think I'm happy with the way that this outline looks, so I'm not going to edit it anymore. So what I need to do now is I need to create a clipping mask. So I'm going to right-click on this threshold layer. So I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to select clipping mask, okay? And then I'm going to create, and then I'm going to click on my original photo, and instead of selecting the normal function here, I'm going to change this to linear burn, which is right there. Okay, so the original photo should be set to linear burn, and I have my clipping mask, so you can see that with that little arrow down. Okay, so now we're going to start the coloring process. So you're going to create a new layer, and you want your layer to be underneath the photo, and that will allow you to have a little bit more ability to kind of paint a little bit inside the lines. So I want you to select your brush tool and select a color that you want to use. So I'm going to use this teal blue color. The default colors that PhotoPiece adjusts are awesome for PopArt because they are already quite bright. And I'm going to make my brush quite a bit larger for this background area. And I'm just gonna color in all of the white space with this blue color. And you can see what I mean a little bit. You can be a little bit forgiving in those areas where there's more of the black color, because you won't be able to see through it because the photo is positioned on top of our coloring layer. Okay, I'm just going to do a rough job for now, and then I'll make my brush smaller and get closer to the photo. Oops. And you can see I went a little inside the line. So either you can click Edit, Undo, or I can switch to my next color. So for this color, I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller because I'm going to do the inside of her face. And I'm going to select a new bright pop art style color. And I'm going to pick the pink. Okay. And so now I'm going to start coloring in her ear. And I'm going to use the same color for her ear as I do for her face, because it looks sort of weird if you pick a different color and you make the ear stand out. I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, now I can probably get the brush bigger. Make it all pink and then we can go back. So start with the biggest areas and then sort of work your way into the smaller areas. We'll do her neck the same color as well. Okay, but now I'm going to go back with my smaller brush and that teal blue. And oops. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I'm going to touch up this area as well. And then try to find some other areas that you can add different colors to. So we can choose a different color for the accents in her hair. And I'll show you what I mean by that in 1 second. Okay, looks good. So now I'm going to choose a new color for her hair, and I'm going to choose yellow. And now I'm going to color in these areas where the background is showing through. I encourage you to try to find as many parts of the photo to color different colors as possible. The more colors, the more brightness, the better. The brush a bit bigger. doing a very good job here. You can also use the bracket keys on your keyboard to make your brush bigger and smaller. So there we go. I made mine smaller. I'm going to change these little details. Actually, no, I think it makes sense to keep them as... actually, no, I guess they're not really part of her face. They're part of her hair. Okay. So when you're happy, there we can see now we've added a third color to our design. And we can use the shirt to add another color. So I've got light blue, I've got pink, I've got yellow. I think it's time for some green. I'm doing a very good job today. I need my mouse. Okay, awesome. Now you can choose another color for her mouth or for her eyes. I'm going to choose a color for her eyes. I think I'll choose the dark blue. You have to be careful with eyes because sometimes if you pick a color like red, it can be a little unnerving. Okay, that looks good. Awesome. So now I'm going to click File, Export As, and PNG, and I've created my first image file. Now, if you want to create a pop art design similar to Andy Warhol, you're going to need 4 like this. So you're going to repeat this process 4 times using different colors, or using the same colors in different ways. So instead of using the teal blue for the background, you could use that for her eyes. And you could use the dark blue for the background or for the hair and use the yellow for the background. So I want you to sort of try to combine your color combinations in different ways to create 4 unique versions of this image. And you're going to save them onto your device, and then you're going to put them together using a new Photopea canvas. Okay, and so your new Photopea canvas can also be a square, a perfect square, the way that the other ones are, and then you just position your 4 images together so that they're all in line, and then save that as a PNG to export and hand into the Google Classroom. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know, send me an email, ask me in class if you're in class. I'm here to help, so thanks.